Hey everybody, quick update. Melvin Capital, everybody's favorite hedge fund to hate. The fund that was behind all the GameStop shorting and the madness last year. Well, Melvin, no more. Melvin is shutting down, and that explains some of the crazy sell-off that we've seen in some fantastic growth companies. Two stocks that I own, which I'm going to tell you in just a second. Melvin and likely other hedge funds have been selling because they're closing up shop. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. This is what I said about Datadog on the Twitter. You can follow me there at Lieberman Austin. This was on the May 17th. I think that was 2 days ago. I said, okay, I don't pay much attention to this kind of stuff, but in my opinion, it's very clear someone is blowing up or something weird is happening this AM. Datadog and several other SaaS and cloud stocks fell straight off a cliff on no real news and are now recovering. So if you see, they opened kind of a little bit higher. This was May 17th, and then they just fell straight off a cliff and then recovered, and they actually ended up recovering more than this on that day. This was just a screenshot that morning. I noticed this across multiple stocks that I own, especially Datadog and Bill.com. I'll show you why in just a second and what that has to do with Melvin Capital. I don't look at this volume type of stuff generally. I don't look at what's going to bounce and sell off during the days, but it was just so drastic, and the price action or the momentum to the downside has been so drastic on, in my opinion, in businesses that are actually set up to handle inflation pretty well and have sold off a lot. We'll see if I'm right. I'll share all that right here. It just didn't make sense to me unless something crazy was going on. So that's why I thought something was up, and that's why I'm sharing this, even though I generally don't pay attention to technicals and all that kind of stuff. I don't even really know how to read these technical charts because I just don't do it. But what you can see here down at the bottom, and this is what I want to focus on, these big red bars just show the volume of shares and I guess like the selling pressure if they're red versus if they're green, it's buying pressure, something like that. Who knows? But that's the amount of volume traded in the stock on those days. I do know that much. So we can see, back to May 5th, the volume was spiking up to about 9 million or 10 million shares. And then it was higher, from May 5th all the way through the 16th, really, than what the average had been before that. And then especially on the 17th, which was the day of this tweet, and the 18th. So remember those dates, 17th and 18th. And this is Bill.com. I took a screenshot right here. This is the same time period of that Datadog sell-off. Look at this. Same dip, exact same dip. And then look, the same pretty low volume here, and then a ton of volume, double, triple, 3 times the volume, and it got down. So it looks like they unloaded, most here, and then a little bit here and a little bit. So this is the 17th and on the 18th, just probably closing out that position. And then here's just both the stocks together. Look at, this is, let's see, blue here I think is Datadog, and then green is Bill.com. But either way, just look at these lines and how they mimic each other almost exactly with the price action and the momentum in the stocks. It's selling off and bouncing almost at exactly the same time. And then this news came out, I believe this came out this morning, and we saw it late yesterday afternoon. Melvin Capital's liquidation may have been the mystery catalyst behind Wednesday's plunge in stocks. And then this right here is a screenshot of the article, and it just shows the 13F, their latest 13F, which shows some of their largest positions. So if you saw some crazy movement in other stocks too, maybe Hilton, Amazon, even Microsoft, but those Amazon and Microsoft are bigger, much bigger market cap stocks. They trade higher volumes, so less of an impact on those stocks, but still an impact. But right here, Datadog and Bill.com, not huge stocks. So a fund like Melvin, and likely news is going to come out that other funds have blown up too. Getting rid of their shares will definitely impact momentum and volume and share price directly on stocks like that. Happens if they're buying like crazy too, except generally funds buy over time, and when they sell, like in this case, they sell pretty fast, which it looks like it was probably over the last week or 2 weeks based on everything we just saw. Guess who's not selling? Me. I build my portfolio right here in my email newsletters, where I provide more in-depth research if you want to check that out. Link in description. But also sharing stuff transparently here on YouTube for everybody to see. Not for people to just follow, but to show how I'm trying to build this portfolio up to $1 million over the next 10 years. If you like that stuff, subscribe to the channel, like these videos, and help more people find them. These are my stocks in my portfolio. Not recommending anybody buy these, but you'll see if you've watched my videos, I'm actually getting more concentrated, and that's what I've done over the past few weeks and month, more concentrated into these growth and software as a service tech style businesses as they've sold off more, because I believe in these businesses. They're executing extraordinarily well. They're not some fake businesses like in the dot-com bubble, and I think they're going to do very well over time if we can stand the volatility, if we can take the risk of being wrong, and if we're not being careless with our money and we're investing for 3+ years. That's how I'm thinking about it. So again, warnings there for people that might not have that risk appetite. Totally fine if you don't. Individual stocks aren't for everybody. Index funds are great. The S&P 500 is a great option if somebody doesn't like the volatility or want to pay attention to individual stocks. I could do another video on my favorite index funds. Ask in the comments if there's demand for that. But anyways, Datadog right here, $4,200. Rocket Lab's a new position, which I covered in the newsletter, and I'll do a video on it eventually. And then Bill.com, $2,900. It's at a 5% target, 6.3% of the portfolio. I may build that up over time, who knows? But today, we're buying. So right here, I'm not selling. I'm showing you I'm not selling. And this, I think, is our opportunity as individual investors. When there's funds like this blowing up, when things like this are happening, and there's pressure on stocks for reasons that aren't necessarily warranted, you can argue that these stocks were very expensive and are still expensive. I get it. That's fine. I think over time that multiple will work itself out. So, but now if there's been selling pressure from Melvin and other funds potentially blowing up or having pressure and having to sell off, that's not warranted, and that's not a long-term reason to sell a stock, in my opinion. And that's how us as individual investors, the little guys, little girls, little ladies, little men, can take advantage of the market and make it work in our favor instead of against us. We're not trying to outtime them, because we're never going to win that fight. We can outhold them and own great businesses. The Warren Buffett, the boring Warren Buffett style, not saying he invests in these types of businesses, but that mindset for the long term. And I think that's how we win. Anyways, this is what I'm buying this morning. The Trade Desk, Tesla, CrowdStrike, Rocket Lab, Datadog, Cloudflare, Shopify, and GitLab. These all happen automatic. I don't do it. I have M1 portfolio, and it just takes care of itself according to my target allocations. It tries to get everything to those levels when new money comes in. That's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. It helps me out. Like the video. It helps more people find them. And then stock deep dives, if you're interested in that stuff, austin.substack.com. First link down in the description. Have a great day. It's crazy out there. I'm feeling it too, but I'm investing for the long term.